Listen, everybody, we're going to make a quick start because I want to get through a few people that were here. But firstly, welcome. It's been a long time. We were just saying to Grainne there that the last person we had in the Tuesday night club was Marianne Williamson way back last June. And boy, we ended on it. Well, we had some wonderful, wonderful guests, all of whom sort of bring something, a lot of magic to us, and it's always uplifting. It's always informative. It's always what would you say? Enlightening in some way, but most of all, it's inclusive. Everybody's welcome. Anyone who has something to say, share, comment, please make sure that you take your opportunity to do that, because that's what we want to know what's going on, and we want to know what you have to say. And it's not going to be all me doing all the talking. But first of all, this evening, I want to go to Eve Revley. Revley? Eve, are you there? Eva, are you there?
Yeah, Eva Reevely. Yeah, you got it
Eva
right.
Revley, how are you? Nice to
And
see you.
nice to see you too. And thanks so much for having me.
No, not at all. I love what Eva, you're up to something really interesting, because this is the time of year we're getting right up to the 1st of February, and our lovely St. Bridget's Day festival is coming up as well. And you've got something that really caught my attention, which I thought was something we should all know about, Bridget's Blessing, which is part of the festival. Will you tell us a little bit about it and how we can be a part of this?
Yeah, and I suppose just to give a little brief summary as to how I came about this, I suppose, Trina, I was introduced to you through Debbie Boyle and her lovely angels up in Tara. And how I ended up with her was because I started researching a local ghost story, and all these goddesses started kind of coming into my mind. And was in the time of chaos of COVID, and so the Morrigan was kind of there. And then I realized the lady was originally from Kildare. I should go to Kildare. And then it was all Bridget. So
Yeah.
I kind of explored Bridget a little bit then. And when I got to Trinity to do a postgrad, I came upon Mary Condren, who was in the Gender Studies department. And she is the author of The Serpent and the Goddess. Now, this was written back in the 70s. I'm sure many of you might have heard of it, but it was new to me. And as soon as I sent her an email, she got back to me straight away on the phone, and she looped me into Women's Spirit Ireland. And I went to their Bridget event last year in Grainne, and it was a really authentic experience of Bridget. And I suppose through that, I kind of stayed in the loop. And locally in Balbriggan, near where I live in Skerries, there was a big pageant last year. And I thought, this is something fantastic. Finally, I was looking for the hidden heritage of women. And this is essentially it. So this year they had the lucky break, I suppose, of having a pre-COVID booking of the Round Room in the Mansion House to offer up a bigger event than they'd ever done before. So I kind of hopped in to just help out in whatever way I could. And it's coming up, as you know, so soon to Imbolc at this point. And I
Yeah.
know we're all still kind of getting through the aftermath of everything. But when we were trying to think of a name, Mancan McGann's book, and I opened
Oh,
it up,
yes.
and he had written to me blessings, Bannock tea. And so I said, it has to be Bannock tea, Bridget. So this is very much Bridget in the ancient sense, and going back to the ancient texts and seeing where in there is there great insight for us. So we have some fabulous people who are going to speak to us as far as how we can bring in her learnings into peace weaving and to developing our community as healers, as in some respects, all women end up having that role in all sorts of capacities. So she's talking about the abbesses of Kildare who turned back the streams of war. And it's going to be a fundraiser for Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors
Brilliant.
Without Borders, in addition to a charity of Women's Spirit Ireland event. It's February 1st, and it's going to be from 2 p.m. The initial session will be a bit of workshops. We'll have Mary Fistuff in the evening, and earlier on we'll have Michelle LeBron, who is a professor on conflict transformation in British Columbia and in Washington, DC as
Wow.
well. So Rosari Kingston is also going to bring the Mana Fasa um, insight into things and talk about how that kind of tradition is in the vernacular of Irish medicine as well. So
Yes.
that all happens between 2 and 5. We'll take a little break, and then there'll be dancing, and there'll be poetry, and we have Nuala Hayes and Moya Cannon and a whole stream of great people offering their time. So I'd love
This is
to,
fantastic. And this
yeah.
is in the round room in the beautiful mansion house on the 1st of February, on the Sunday, is it?
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah, in the afternoon.
It's a wonder. And did you all, so forgive me if I missed this. Is this the first year that this is happening, or
Well,
is this evolved from another
yeah,
exercise?
so generally this group of Women's Spirit Ireland get together every Bridget's Day, and they have done for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who've been weaving the likes of this for a very, very long time.
Love that.
That
Yes.
was gifted to me by Bridget Regan, who's going to be assisting with some of the artistry.
Right.
And we're also going to be talking about, the power symbols of the feminine from ancient times, such as the distaff, and that's heavily involved in the weaving tradition. So there's lots of great symbolism to discover more about.
Isn't that fascinating? Listen, what I will do, I absolutely want to get back to you as well about the ghost story that you came across up there, because that would be fascinating too. But if anybody, I'm going to put it's an Eventbrite. You can buy
Yeah, I'll
tickets
just
on
paste the
Eventbrite.
link in here in the
Will you
chat as
do that?
well.
Thank
It's
you.
WSI Bridget 2026. If you've any questions, we have Bridget2026 at gmail dot
Brilliant.
ie, I
Okay.
think.
Does
There we go.
anybody else here have any,
Dot
has
com.
anyone else got any idea, have you been involved in anything that Eva was talking about there? Or does anybody think this is a great idea that they'd be interested in doing it? If you do, don't worry, you don't have to, you don't have to say anything. I'm just checking in with you. But it's absolutely, Eva, I just wish you the very best of luck with that. I think it's a wonderful event. It's rich. It's so, I mean, when you think, is it a woman only event, or is it?
No, it's open to all. But
Yeah.
essentially, predominantly Women's Spirit Ireland
Yes. Okay.
attracts a majority of women, yeah, for
I
sure. And a few
I love
enlightened
that.
men, as they say.
Always very cool men, yeah. And but what's lovely is the whole idea of Bridget is so, I mean, whether it's the woman, the goddess, the saint, it's somebody. We in Ireland have this incredible connection to her, and it's joyous that we have a day that's set aside for her now. And there's balance in there too. The sort of the feminine and the masculine. St. Patrick's Day due so soon afterwards, but absolutely love that. Eva, thank you so much for coming and telling us about it.
Thanks for the
Um,
time. And if anybody wants a poster or to share anything, just reach out and let me know.
Okay, okay. And even if you don't now, come back to me and then I'll patch everybody up. Okay. Thanks a million again, Eva. The very best of luck with that, and hope to check in on it too. And actually, what I want to do is go from your St. Bridget's Cross weaving. I'm going to go to Elaine Dowling, because Elaine, you've got something really rather interesting with regard to weaving going on. Or rather that you're going to tell us about just at the moment. There's a couple of very interesting things that you're working with. Oh, can we unmute you?
Sorry.
There we go.
Sorry. Hi, Trina. Thanks very much. That was really
Hi,
informative.
Elaine.
It was lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I suppose just to follow on from that, a girl named Anne Lawler, and she has a Facebook page called Anna Banana. I met her on a course last year, and she came to my house and built a living willow arch, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it kind of spans along a footpath in the garden. So I said to her, "Oh, I'll organize a course for you at some point because I have the studio."
Mhm.
And so on the 7th and 8th of February, she's running a Living Willow course here. And so if you Google Anna Banana, because her name is Anne Lawler, but her mother called her Anna Banana, apparently. And she's from the west of Ireland, and she's a really solid traditional woman, and she loves willow and working with willow, and you'll see all the stuff that she does on her site. And so she 6 people, we have 5 already, and she's going to teach them basically all the things about growing willow, the propagation, the cutting of it, all the creativity, the traditional tying knots of it, and obviously they'll make various things throughout the course of the 2 days. On the
Yeah.
second day, she'll show them how to build a living willow fence. And So obviously Anne can't talk tonight because she's working. So she said, like, you'll have to talk for me. And I thought, oh my God, because it's
Well,
her thing, it's not my thing. I just love her work and I love what she does. Um,
well, I'm glad you're
but
telling us about it because it sounds absolutely, but you're hosting it. Is that what you're
yes,
saying
I'm
as well?
hosting it. So
Yes.
I don't think I'll be actually there on the day. I'll be doing the food and making
Yeah.
sure everybody's all right, that kind of thing. But you really, I suppose, I'm just looking at different things that I've learned, I suppose, about Anne. So she teaches you how to bend and work the willow. And the
Yes.
willow is the divine feminine energy. So it's actually to do with fertility, creativity, and inspiration. But she'll teach you how to work the willow. But with Anne's hands are really interesting because because I've done a few courses with her since, Anne's hands are really, really warm when she's working the willow. My hands are arthritic and cold, and I'd be trying to get the willow to not to snap. And
Yes.
Anne will show you how to heat your hands up really naturally so that you can actually work the willow.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
Anne particularly likes working with living willow, even though
Yeah.
she, on the first day, when everybody's learning all the knots and tying things up, and learning how to work it, obviously it won't be living willow. But on the second day, they'll work with living willow and making a living willow fence. And then everybody will take home those skills to have,
Mhm.
and some willow to how to create a living willow fence, or I don't know, she'll have the words
Yes. Yes.
for your garden. So I know
Uh,
my own daughter is coming down to do it because she wants to grow sweet pea of it. You know, she was just asking me again about it today.
what a
So
great idea.
she wants to try and build a living willow structure in the school where her kids go. But it's
Wonderful.
interesting, there was lots of willow left over last year when Anne was here, and my grandsons, they built a teepee out of the living willow, and it's there. And like they were only 5 and 6, and it's still there today. We were just looking at it, and I thought I better tidy it up before Anne comes home.
Well,
The
it'd be
other
lovely
thing
if
is,
that's still there
yeah,
as the little ones grow older,
yeah.
they'll be able to see it.
The thing is with willow as well, it's an extremely strong structure to work with. It really grows really well in Irish climate. Now
Yeah.
we have a massive big willow tree in the garden. I mean, it's huge, and it's the boys, they have a swing out of it. But we were doing some work in the garden there just before Christmas, and a few trees were getting rehoused in different places. And one of the things we were told was, and it was very interesting when they said to me, "You're not to touch Mrs. Tree." And I said, "Mrs. Tree?" They said, "Yeah, Nanny, she's a girl." And
Uh-huh.
I thought, wow, I thought that was
Those of us who love our
yeah,
trees know whether
yeah,
they're
mm,
dude trees, grandmother
yeah,
trees, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
Elaine, that is so interesting. If you
So
put the link, if you don't mind, into
I don't know how to do that.
okay, well, I will
I'm
put it
of that
into the.
age.
I'll go where to that. That's not your thing. Go where to that.
My phone
I'll put.
broke today, and I had everybody under the nation trying to sort out a new phone.
Oh,
Anyway,
I'm
go
sorry to
ahead.
hear that. Well, no, I was going to say I'll put it in the follow-up email
Okay,
because
I'll
that's
try.
2 weeks to that. You've got your own workshop this weekend, lucid dreaming.
Yeah, I have a
You want to
workshop on
briefly,
this
and
weekend.
have you spaces left in that? Are you
And we have 6 people on it, a space for one, maybe two, but I'm
lucid
quite
dreaming?
happy to run with 6.
I
And
like that.
basically, lucid dreaming, I don't know if anybody knows what lucid dreaming is, but it is the most fascinating
Mm,
and I suppose growth subject,
yes,
I think, in the whole new age spiritual
yes.
arena.
Uh-huh.
Because what you learn to do in lucid dreaming is you learn to bring it back into your everyday life, even though
Mhm.
lucid dreaming, it's basically about becoming an aware and awake within your dreams and changing
Lovely.
the course of the dreams. And I suppose for me, since I was a child, dreams and time travel were always huge to me.
Mm,
But I give you an example of a lucid dream, a really nice lucid dream that I had once, which was, kind of a very friendly one. In it, I was on a mountaintop. I was dreaming, I was in bed, sleep, I was on a mountaintop. And next of all, I saw this huge big line running towards me. And one of the things you learn in lucid dreaming course is to ask yourself the question, am I dreaming? So obviously, so he's what we call a dream sign. So it's something that shouldn't be there.
mhm.
So as this big line was pounding towards me, I went, am I dreaming? And I went, stop, change. And next of all, it was a big, you know, the Dulux dog
Oh, lovely.
out of
This
the
big St.
Dulux
Bernard.
land. He
Yes.
came flying over, and I thought, okay.
But that's
So that was one of my very, very first early experiences of how to wake up within a dream, even though
yes.
you're still asleep. So
Ah,
you learn to wake
fantastic.
up within the dream. And yeah, and that's basically what those
I listen, it
stages do.
sounds, it's a kind of thing that is endlessly fascinating because it's something we all do every single night of our lives. And it's just as something that I think is very unexplored, but would be fabulously interesting to follow through. So that I would put the link up for that as
Thank
well.
you.
And maybe
Yeah.
you'll do another one as well, since this one is almost full. Maybe you'll do another one because I just think that's a whole area that would be very interesting. We've got Teresa Chung. She is coming back to us in hopefully March time. She's had a lot of issues, so she's got some fascinating things to say about dreams too. She's written quite a number of books about it as well. But you're coming back, you're a featured guest very shortly, and I'm looking forward to that too. And perhaps we will leave it for now, and we will talk
Thank
more
you.
about that shortly. But I'm very much looking forward to having you back because you've been up to something really fascinating and interesting, and I think everybody would be really love to see that. Elaine, thanks so
Thank
much for
you.
all that
Thank you.
information. That's
Thank you, Trina.
great.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to our own Karen Walsh, who so many of you have already met. Karen Walsh Medium, Karen Walsh Angelic Connections. Can I show this? This is Karen Walsh's book. She's been a very busy lady since we came across her last. It's called Walk with Angels, 30-Day Guided Journal. Karen, will you come and talk to us a little bit about the fascinating story of the whole story behind this book, just fairly briefly, if you don't mind. Just let us know a little
Yeah,
bit.
thanks, Trina, and thanks for having me back again. It's always
Ah,
brilliant and hearing everybody else that has like amazing stuff going on. Even though we probably don't realize it's so important to others. So briefly, yeah, just briefly, the book. So a lot of you probably know I left my social work job in St. Francis Hospice a year ago, a little over a year ago, to actually, obviously, cause of health, long COVID, but mainly to work with the angels and for spirit. And I committed to doing that and walked away from my job. And I haven't regretted. Of course, I have sometimes. I've had these pangs of like, wanting to do palliative care, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the book was on foot of getting a website built to have a booking system because I wasn't getting back to people. I wasn't replying to Instagram messages and all of that stuff and trying to get price and all of that stuff. And I started to work on a PDF, connecting with the angels. Like for me, I've been connected to angels forever, for all my life. And during COVID especially, the angels didn't fix me or try and make, they didn't rescue me. And they walked with me and helped me become more aware of myself and my strength and slow down and going within. So when I was working on the website and I wanted to give back and a landing page and it was a PDF. I was working on this guide, an angel guide, to just help people reconnect. Because what I'm noticing with people that are coming here is sometimes people are disconnected from themselves. We're disconnected, we're longing for connection, whether it's because we're feeling lonely, feeling invisible, whether it's wanting to connect with the angels or just even being curious.
mm,
And so for me, it was wanting to give something back, giving a guide, a free guide that didn't basically stop. Literally didn't stop. I had a guide written 10 times over and it just kept going and going and going. And so I listened. That's the difference. Now I listen to when I'm getting something repeatedly and when my gut and my intuition is forcing me to keep going and keep going. It was like, okay, wow. Didn't absolutely for 1 second think this was going to be a physical book. Sure, who am I? A physical book, writing a book, being an author? Absolutely not a chance on the planet did I think that was ever going to. Didn't even, it wasn't in me radar. That wasn't what this was about. And so as I was going, I was actually really loving. The book starts off with obviously introducing the angels. Who are angels? What are they about? Introducing your guardian angel, setting intention.
mm,
And then we move on to, connecting with the angels and guided for 30 days. So it's about slowing down. Yes, building a relationship, getting to know the angels better, but also getting to know yourself. So there's practices, there's journal prompts and reflections. And so when I started doing that as the guide, I just couldn't stop. Like my
mm,
husband said to me at one stage, can I ask, about 2 weeks before I went to print, can I ask, when did you think you were writing a book? When did this start? I was like, have you even been listening to me for the last few months? Like, do you know, it was blood, sweat, and tears. Like, there was lots of crying. There was lots of like self-doubt, of course. And sure, I was telling someone that was here last week with me, I had a flick through the book like a couple of weeks ago and I see a half a sentence floating under a paragraph somewhere. I'm like, oh, Jesus, like, what have I put out there to the world? I didn't like get it edited. I self-edited myself.
Ah,
And it was because it just wouldn't stop, Trina. And I felt that if I paused, if like even yourself, Trina, I remember when I sent you the voice note, I was like, if I tell anybody about this, it's going to stop it. It's
stop.
going to jeopardize it. People have
Yes.
put in and like which an aunt of mine did, but I only told her when I went to publish. It was like, sure, how could you write a book or what would you write about and how do you know? And so I knew that this was so important, not me. This is not about me at all. This is like literally the guidance. I just felt it was channeled. It was information that
Mm,
I wasn't even aware of that I was aware
yeah.
of, if you understand. Like
Yeah.
just even some of the practices, the somatic practices, and the different archangels that we get to meet, all of
Mhm.
that stuff. And and then when it launched, then when it went to Amazon, I only then, like 24 hours after it launched, I told people because the first day I bought my book myself, and I thought, I can't even name this to people. I feel like a weirdo. Like, people would be thinking, oh, Jesus, like, who does she think, And this
But do
Irish
you want,
culture sometimes that
I
we
mean,
have.
Karen, can I jump in? Do you want to tell everybody what you discovered on the first day, or if not the first day, the second day? What happened? Where did the book
So
go?
So that was it. I didn't tell nobody that first 24 hours because I thought, oh,
Mhm.
how do I do this? How do I text people and say, oh, I have a book and it's about angels? And even
Mm,
that, it's about angels. I don't care that some people find that weird. And so I texted to just literally people in my phone in WhatsApp. I didn't put a post on social media, didn't
mm.
do nothing. And a friend of mine texted me and said, could you give us the link? And like what Anna said, I didn't have a clue how you get a link. I was like, what does that mean? And I went on to Amazon to try and find the link, and it was gone to #1 bestseller
There we
in
go.
New Age Channel. And I will say it was a really humbling, really emotional kind of moment. And it wasn't that like that I thought, oh, Jesus, I'm amazing and I know all about angels. And of course I
Yeah.
don't, and I'm still learning and growing every single day.
Mhm.
But it was, oh my God, people actually have reached out and bought this because, and I know, honestly, like, because it's a chunk of money and it's before Christmas. And I was like, it's not just because they like me or love me or nothing like that. People are longing for that. Like it's longing for
This is
something
true.
more. And
Yeah.
and that's what I found. And that's why I just honestly I felt so emotional because I thought the angels have pushed this through. They've got it into the hands of people
Mhm.
that needed it. And that was really, really powerful.
Well, Karen, can I just jump in there because one of the things, and we'll put the book is called Walk with Angels, and it's by Karen Walsh. If you put that into Amazon.ie, the book will come up for you. Um, One of the things I found looking at it is a really interesting thing. Those of us, anybody here who kind of loves angels and loves kind of all things spiritual and guides and all of that kind of thing, we kind of have a little bit of an understanding of what we mean about it. But when you talk about angels to people, they kind of go, yeah, but like, what are they? Who are they? Am I doing it wrong? I mean, how would you talk to them? How do you know they're talking to you? The lovely thing about this is that it's not you break it right down into, or as you say, it's channeled right down into a guide that walks you through the process of developing a meaningful relationship. And Karen, that book is going to be so valuable. I'm really looking forward to its great success for you. And I'm so proud for you. I can
Oh,
imagine what
thank
it's
you.
like. I can remember that day when it was #1, and it's #1 in channeled work, or number 6 or 7
Yeah.
in channeled work as well. So I mean, it's hugely successful, and only the angels. That's the little bit of spark of something delicious about angels. They really knock the socks off. Whatever he's up to. So for that, I want you to come back to us again at another time, Karen, and we'll talk a bit more about it.
Oh,
Because
thank
we
you.
could talk
Yeah.
for, listen, as with all of you this evening, we could talk for hours about the work that you're doing, and also the just immense success. But what I love as well is that you say there was as far as I was concerned, a book wasn't on my radar. There was no book in me. And here you are, 3 weeks after Christmas, with what has already been a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So can we just say congratulations so much, and well done, because you opened that door now for everybody else as well. You let people see that when you have a passion and something you work hard, you can deliver that to the world. So thank you so much, Karen. Okay, we talk again about it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. This is a book. That's what it looks like. Walk with Angels, a 30-day guided journey, and it's journaling prompts and information and all kinds of things that you're guaranteed a relationship at the end of this. Thanks again, Karen. We'll talk again soon. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And we're going to go to Grainne Tyndall now. Numbers for Success podcaster. That's a hugely popular podcast, Grainne.
It is, yeah. It's a bit like what Karen was saying there. It was something I started in lockdown, lying in bed with my dog. Jess is, you probably hear her mooching around. She's 19, so she needs to be close. But yeah, it was one of those things that was kind of an inspiration, very similar to what Karen was speaking of there. That just came to me. I mean, it was kind of the next step, and I've been doing this work all my life, but professionally 31 years at this point. So the podcast is all over the world now, which is great.
You have a lovely delivery. You have a lovely manner. I mean, you address everybody listening as friends, and you really feel that you're listening into an old friend when you're, so I don't mean old, I mean a good friend.
I don't take it personal.
Thanks, Grainne. I'm a good friend, and you always have. There's always something you go, wow, because I listen to you when I'm out for my walk, and sometimes I stop and go, oh my goodness, that's fascinating. So you've got so much going on at the moment. Your New Year forecast is only recently out. If you go to Numbers for Success, you'll be able to listen into Grainne's New Year forecast, which is fascinating.
Thank you. Yeah, numbers 4, the number 4. So
Yes.
I'm a numerologist. I don't know if I've met many of you. I think I've met a few of you.
You have. Yes.
Yes, I have. And I'm a numerologist and a soul seer. And I've been doing this work, as I say, all my life, but professionally, I guess, 31 years. And my work is to help people to remember their purpose and their potential and skills. So it was very interesting to hear you, Eva, what you're doing as well, how your journey has brought you. And Elaine, is it Elaine?
Yes, Elaine Dowling. Yes.
Elaine Dowling, yes. And the wonderful work, all of you, and the wonderful work you're doing, and it's, you as well, Karen. And I suppose when we get our, I can talk personally for this, when we get our egos out of the way, edging God out, and we're on track and we're listening, following the signs, my God, the world is our oyster. And right now, it's so interesting to be alive, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be here and experiencing this. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting it's easy, because it's not. It can be, challenging, but ultimately, when we understand our own purpose and then we bring that to the collective table, I really believe we're on purpose. Yeah. So that's really where we're at. I don't know whether you want to ask me anything, Trina.
Well, just on that now, because you brought it up, in a sense, that's your mission, really, isn't it? You feel that it's always about bringing the light in. It's always about remembering who we really are, because we can get very bogged down, very caught up in the kind of we can even end up scrolling for hours, just lowering and lowering and lowering our own frequency. So that's really, so when we feel this kind of consumed by what's going on, it kind of disempowers us. And you're really good at showing people where their personal power is, where they can, reminding them of who they are. Does that relate to numerology? How does that show up? Yeah.
Yes, that's a really good question. Well, I guess, we all come in with a divine plan, whether we remember it or not. So from the moment the lights hit the pituitary gland and you make your entrance in, the time of birth, the date of birth, the name you're given at birth, it is the beginning. And I very much believe, again, it's one of the premises, I think, a lot of with spirituality, if you will, is that we choose our parents. So whether we like them, knew them, loved them, or loathed them, they are the ones that brought us in. They're the ones who created us, irrespective of the circumstances. It's all part of the bigger picture. So with that in mind, your date of birth and your name from birth, they're very much your calling card. Now, I know there's millions of people born on our dates of birth, really, but together with your name and the vibration and your contract, that you've made, it helps us then to realize what we're here to bring to the world, and also what we're here to learn and to grow with. So we really do, everything has a purpose. Every single, like, I'm a great one for earwigging. I don't know if you know what that is. Earwigging
Tell
meaning,
me.
my dad was a real dub, and he'd say, don't be earwigging. But earwigging is great because you hear other stories, maybe as you're going through your walk on the day, or you're on a bus or whatever it is. And sometimes the messages will come through spirit, through other people. It could be the headlines of a newspaper, probably not the best analogy, really. They're not that cheerful at the moment. Or you come across a book and it falls off a shelf, the usual things. But ultimately, the more we are aware, the more we're open to the idea that basically this is a play, and you are the writer, director, producer, and star. That's what you are of this life story. And so in many ways, we have choice the whole way to determine, to remember. Once you remember, it makes it easier. Of course, we can slip and slide. And like last week, I just couldn't be here last Tuesday. I was just completely floored. I wasn't unwell. I was floored. I could not move. Literally, the Schumann resonance, we spoke of this earlier, Trina, which is the energetic measurement, if you will, of the world energy, it's off the scale. I think it is today as well, with
Many
the
was
aurora
feeling that.
borealis. Yeah, beautiful. So there's a lot going on energetically. I'm sure you all can feel that, every one of you who'd be here or who'd listen to this show. So I guess with that in mind, once we understand ourselves and we're all on a path of some way, then it makes things a little bit easier. That's my belief anyway.
Yeah.
And I think right now, to be here at this time, I feel is a really exciting threshold.
Yeah, and what you said there about, we choose our parents, that our calling card is the sort of the frequency, or the energetic makeup of our particular number, basically. And you're a specialist in working that out for people. We forget something. We always, it's great to know what we have come here, what kind of gifts and talents and abilities and blueprints that we've come to deliver to the world. But we also forget that there are challenges, that we're not meant to be the full packet, that we do need support. So we often feel that we're not worthy because we're not as good as that person, or we can't, do maths as well as that person, or be creative as much as that person. But there are challenges in this life as well, in relation to our journey here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I've had the honor of working with thousands of people over the years now at this stage, and all over the world. And ultimately, we're all here on a mission, but we're all more or less the same, if you will. But some people have lifetimes, and I'm sure you know them, who their lives just seem to flow. Have you met any people like that? Is there anyone who could say they just seem to fall into place? They marry someone young, they're happy out, they have children, whatever it is that's important. It just seems to flow, which is beautiful. And then there's someone else then that literally from the moment they're born, there's challenges. But I very much believe that we have some lifetimes that are kind of just, the word I guess, I use the word dull, but they're just are. There's nothing exciting per se. But then the next one, because we've something else, maybe karmic debt we have to work through, that then catapults us into something else. So
Okay.
yeah.
How can we reduce our karmic debt, Grainne? We don't want to be going into a next life with a karmic debt. Can we dissolve that in this life?
We can.
Yeah.
Now, not everyone has karma. Not everyone has it. But again, it's numerology. When I look at numbers, there are certain numbers that come up, and they are 13, 14, 16, and 19. So if they come and feature somewhere in your name or your date of birth, they have a significance. Again, it depends where it's placed when I'm doing a chart. So that also gives me an indicator of what it is someone has to learn and what they have to heal in a lifetime.
Very good.
Yeah,
okay.
No, not everyone has that. I know I've probably spoken this before, but the children born from 2020 don't have any karma.
Get away. Now, I've heard this not only from you, I've heard that from somebody else as well.
No.
Is there a kind of, what would you say, universal kind of covenant or agreement, or
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
it that has brought that
yeah.
about?
I'm very interested in, I'll just go back a little bit. I'm when I do charts, as I get older, the people who are coming to me are getting younger. So I've been around the block a while. So the young people born from 1990 to 1999, they're very interesting. I had
Mm,
two daughters in the
agree
90s.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're interesting. And then the young people born from 2000 are also a totally different kettle of fish. But the last 10 years of the 20th century, they are very interesting because they're the next people to be up and running and doing what they do. But they also have a lot of wisdom. They're old souls. Again, this is very generalized. Then from the year 2000 to 2012, that block, some of you may have children or grandchildren of that age. They're very interesting. Some of them would have karmic debt, be more healing family lines. But they have a very much a high awareness. They would be called the crystal children. They're
Oh,
the young
beautiful.
people. I have one daughter who's one of them. She's total opposite to her other sisters. And they are very aware, they collaborate, they want to come together to heal the earth. I'm not saying the ones born in the 90s are not like that, but these are more profound, if you will. And then from 2012 to 2020 is another chunk that have come in. They're very interesting. And these children, again, have an awareness of angels, of spirit, of trees. Elaine, you mentioned one of your grandsons, or
Yeah.
how old would he be, just out of nosiness? No,
Put you on your mic, Elaine. Put on your mic, Elaine.
if you can do it.
There you
Because
go.
one of them is 5 and he's 2020. And it's really interesting. His birth was fascinating. It was in the living room of the house, completely, not a medication under the sun. And the other fella is 7.5.
Perfect. They'd be a perfect example. Like they know the tree is a Mrs. Tree or Miss Tree. Was it Miss Tree?
Mrs. Tree. They knew she was a girl.
I love it. So those children, thank you. Like the children, the young people born, they have a connection with all that is. They have a deep, not that we don't have, but they have a very deep soul connection. And then the very interesting children. Again, I don't have grandchildren yet, but I hopefully will. From 2020 on, they have come in to completely support us. Because 2020, I remember when I was studying numerology 30 something years ago, I always thought, I wonder what 2020 will be like, because it's 2020 vision. And I always kind of had an interest in Star Trek and things like that. So I was curious, will there be flying cars, which are coming in now anyway? We know that, but at the time, but 2020, we know what happened in 2020. And but to me, that was a watershed. The number 2 in numerology is always about the choice point. And it was a choice point. And the 0 was the unlimited potential for us all to either, there was a great divide around that time. This is not a political broadcast by any means. I quickly add, I'm talking about numbers here. Yes. So it was a choice point. And a lot of people chose to leave at that time. A lot.
Of course, because we had COVID as well as everything else, hadn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think on a soul level, there was a choice, though, around that whole story, and that situation that happened. And we were all affected in some way. But I guess it's more the spiritual aspect I'm curious about. So as a numerologist, looking at the numbers from now, where we're at right now in the world, like 2020 really was, if we added it together, it comes to number 22. Which in numerology is called the master builder. So that was the beginning of the building of the new earth.
Okay. Okay. Now, Grainne, we jump forward because this year is a number 1 year.
It is.
So when we add up the numbers, obviously 2026, that makes it pretty important. And I know from talking, you are in a number 1 year in your own thing. And I've come across a number of other people who are number ones. They've just moved into a number 1 year. What's going on? How does that kind of energy work for people?
Yes. Well, in numerology, we live in cycles of 9-year stretches, which begin on the day of our birthday. So we have a personal new year, and then the world has a universal new year. So since the 1st of January, 2026, we are, sorry about the noise, my little dog keeps walking around.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry, she's just so old, I can't stop her. So 1st of January 2026, we entered a brand new number 1 year, okay, because 2026 adds to 201. But that was an interesting day. That was a 111 day.
Yes.
And then we had it again on the 10th. We had it on the 11th. We have it on the 18th. We'll have it on the 19th. We had it on the road to have it on the 28th as well, and the 29th. So
Okay.
this month, January of 26 is a massive time. It is literally the alpha. It's the start. It's the beginning.
Right.
It's the
Yes.
start of a whole new cycle of 9 years.
And how do we prepare for that? What can we expect in a sense? How can we use it as best? What does it bring to us?
Sure. Well, certainly from now until the 17th of February, that's kind of the cutoff. Okay. So in Chinese astrology, and I never claim to be an astrologer, I just have a huge interest. Chinese astrology, we're currently in the wood snake, and that'll continue until the 17th of February when we enter into the fire horse year.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you fine folk were born in 1966, from February 17th, 1966 till February the 17th, 1967, you were also born in the year of the fire horse. So it'll be an interesting year. But
Grainne, you said that. If that was me, I'd be going, okay.
I know you'll hear me say interesting a bit because it's hard to know what's going to happen. But ultimately, between now and the 17th of February, we will have I'm going to have to put my little dog out. Do you mind? I'm so sorry because she won't settle. I'm really sorry.
No, please let her settle. Go
I
ahead.
have to put her up on the couch because she's 19. She can't get up.
Pick her up, let her up.
This is very professional.
This is great. No, just so that you all know where mine is. There's mine beside me on a high chair to sleep as well. There's obviously something about the Grainne that brings the animals to the high chairs beside us. It's just settled. Listen, if you've got a 19-year-old dog, it's such a compliment to you that beautiful fellow has got to, or
she's
is
19.
it a girl? Yes.
She's 19, yes.
She's loved.
The oldest dog in Wicklow, but she demands it. Oh Lord. It's been authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we like here.
Oh. So year one for the world, it's an opportunity to rewrite the script. It gives us a chance. We have this chance every 9 years, but because of what we're going through right now, we're going through a huge time of evolution and revolution. And in many ways, there has to be an ending. And that includes our own lives, letting go, letting God, looking at what physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually no longer serves us, and making sure not to bring it into the next year, which really begins. It begins on the 1st of January, but it's more, we have until the 17th of February.
Okay.
When we go into the new Chinese year. But in numerology, and astrology, there's a lot going on at the moment. I mean, you can tell in your own lives, I'm sure, energetically, we're going through huge shifts and changes.
There's no doubt we cannot sleepwalk through this.
No.
There's nobody, I think, can say that this is what did we do and what was 2026 like? There's no doubt nobody is sleepwalking at this stage.
Yes. And the reason is now today is the 20th, and the sun has now gone into the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius we're in the age of Aquarius at the moment, and we will be Pluto, which is the planet of death and rebirth, is in the sign of Aquarius and will be there till 2044. Okay, so within that time frame between now and 2044, the world will be completely different.
Wow.
It has to be, because it's looking at what is working. So it's like the destruction and the construction of the old world and the new world. And in a 1 year like we're in, it is a change of leadership. It's very male energy. The number one is the masculine energy. And it's very much around, there will be changes, and there has to be changes in order for the new energy to come in. And we've just left Capricorn, and Capricorn is very associated with older energy, older leaders. So there's going to be a lot of leadership changes.
Wow.
You can see that already. So global resets, new leaders. There's very much, it's going to be culturally different, energetically, medically, every way. This is about reinvention. And so we all have an opportunity, but we all have free will. We all have free will to decide what way we're going to approach this. So I feel in many ways, when we look at 2026 and we add it together, it actually comes to a number 10, which adds to a 1.
Yes.
And 10 in numerology is about taking ownership, leadership, but the 0 is also about unlimited potential. That's the good thing about it. We have a huge potential to change the way we look at things. And I think between now and this whole year will be very much about probably shocks and surprises, because Uranus rules Aquarius, and that's what we're in now. And Uranus is this planet of, it's normally associated with electricity, if you will. It's very electrical. So it can be to do with networks. It can be to do with anything that's digital, communication as well. But it can usually be a sudden shifting of the guards, changing of the guards, if you will. So I do feel there will be a lot of leaders who are with us now who will not be leading anymore in all areas of life.
Okay, all right. And in a sense, how should we, I mean, in a sense, what do we draw on within ourselves to face that kind of massive change?
Yeah.
Are there ways in which we can prepare for that we can, dig deep and what is it that we need in order to move through this? And also, I just want to throw in there, and then I'll leave you alone. It's not by accident that we are here at this time, is really what you're saying.
Yeah, I believe we all come in collectively. We're all individuals, but we all have a part to play in the collective.
Okay.
So for right now, I feel all of us who are here on the earth, we're still working through our current contract, if you will. Okay. So with that in mind, it's time to reinvent yourself. So I'll just use Karen as a perfect example. Karen was told she had to write a book, even though every resistance was there. So she went with her dream, her aspiration. I'm sure every one of you here on a path for a long time, including your lovely self, Trina. And this is the time. This is about reinvention. It's a new beginning. So it's taking what you want from your past, and then what you don't want, you let go, but you bring into the new. And it's really about, I feel personally anyway, not feeding into the narrative. It's something I say all the time: observe, don't absorb.
Yes.
Watch. Okay. I watch. And I listen. I'm clairaudient, so I listen to what's around me, and equally I'm looking at what's being played out on the stage of the world at the moment. And without getting too deep, I'm observing it, but I'm deciding what route I want to take. And I really feel, in many ways, going back to number 1 is going back to the basics. Like we're celebrating Bridget, the beautiful goddess Bridget. We're going back to what our ancestors did and carried.
The weaving
the weaving, the willow weaving. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Writing, journaling, walking in nature. I know you love to walk, Trina. So it's setting intentions, it's clearing the old, really recognizing, okay, I know I keep saying it, but what works and what doesn't work. And I know people are sometimes fearful about AI. It's going to be the new way in many ways. It doesn't mean we have to be controlled by it, though. We can use it to our advantage. So what we're going through as well on the 20th of February is a huge date. Just to give you a heads up, you may have heard of it already. It's when Saturn, which is the Lord of Time and Karma, comes together, conjuncts with Neptune, which is connected with illusion, delusion, movies, the arts type of thing. But equally, when these come together, this is a big deal, because Saturn takes about 30 to 36 years to go around the chart, but Neptune takes 165 years, slow burner. So, but they're coming together at 0 degrees of Aries. This hasn't happened ever. There's no textbook for it. I've spoken in my podcast about it. Depending who you listen to, it varies from about 8,000 years to 12,000 years. That it hasn't, and there's no documentation or reference point, shall we say.
Yes.
So it's something so huge that we don't know what's really going to happen. But what we do know is it's an opportunity to completely start again. It's
Okay.
huge. And, you know, Neptune gives us the opportunity to really recognize what has been an illusion. And a lot of what society has been in the last number of years has been an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the truth is emerging. And that's really what it's about. So you're going to see that a lot in the arts, particularly entertainment business, politically, medically, socially, and so forth.
Okay.
But these particular planets coming together is again, use the word threshold to bring us into something brand new.
That's fascinating. And something, so you're talking to what basically here we're sort of, we like to call ourselves the wise and ageless goddesses. We've kind of moved through sort of a very great body of experience in life, and we've moved into the wise years, what are the Manofas, as we mentioned there earlier. And so with that comes a heightened sense of intuition, a greater understanding of our personal gifts, an ability to tap into healing within ourselves. Karen's written her book about how to connect with angelic forces or divine light. So Elaine is talking about lucid dreaming and how we can control. All of us are much more powerful than we really know, although most of us here would be beginning to really realize that we have a lot greater abilities. We have much more power and strength. We're more highly intuitive and gifted, and spiritually gifted as well. With ability to see through, and this is what you were talking about, to see through the veil, to see through the scales drop from our eyes, and we get to see that. So what? And Karen and others here have done this, where they are not only are they discovering what they've got in them, and it's far more than they ever thought was possible, to the point of almost resisting it. It's so powerful, as she said, tears and I can't do this. Who am I to do this? But this is really what you're actually saying. This is what we are meant to be doing, is finding, not that we are, who am I to do this? And I know Marianne Williamson, who was talking to us before, was, who am I to be a writer? Who am I to be, lead groups on discovering the power of our dreams? Who am I to set up a magnificent program for women, to discover their goddess abilities, etc. And Marianne Williamson will say, well, who am I not to? And is that really what you're actually saying? Is this what we're calling on now at this stage of our lives?
Yes. And like, we are given an opportunity. We have a soul's mission. So we're given opportunities through our lives to remember that. And like, for example, the last time Saturn and Neptune were together, I think it was in Capricorn, was back in 1989. So you can remember what was going on in your lives in 1989. Again, that's collectively as opposed to personally. Yeah. And it would have been, that's at the time of the Berlin Wall, and was also Tiananmen Square. And it was
beginning of the peace process in Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah, peace process, possibly, yeah. And also, I think it was 24-hour TV media, Neptune.
Yeah, very interesting.
And then the time before that was 1951 to 52. And it would have been when TV became, and certainly in the United States, I suppose in the UK, again, Neptune, it's all to do with entertainment. And then back before that was 1917, the Russian Revolution. So you can probably see there's a pattern there somewhere, isn't there?
Yes. Okay. Well, you said last year, if you don't mind me bringing it back up again, something very interesting, and actually it was confirmed then, I think later on in the year. You were kind of giving us tips on what we should look out for, how we can sort of physically prepare for the year that was ahead. And one of the things you were saying was, keep stocks of simple things, water, for cash, as opposed to everything in our cards. Keep some tinned foods. Should stocks not get through and that kind of thing. And I mean, even down to, and I don't know whether this was you, but certainly many were saying, get yourself an old-fashioned transistor radio, battery offer transistor radio. Not so long ago, the government was actually saying people should be doing this in the event of a cyber attack or, loss of internet and other
that's
things.
why Uranus, and that's a heads up, Uranus is moving from Taurus into Gemini on April the 26th. There's an exact date for you, so don't book holidays. So there could be airline disputes because Uranus is to do with flight, and it's going into Gemini. Gemini is the air. So again, it's total free will. I can't dictate,
Yes,
I would always look. When I'm booking anything, I'll always look at what's going on astrologically and numerology wise. I'm not trying to put fear into people. It's just, these are the things that we're being told. We're actually being told by the governments to do this. Because there has to be a reset in order for the old to be released. And that will happen.
And like all good girl guides, there's no harm in being prepared. And there's no harm in that. So well, Grainne, this has been absolutely fascinating. Do you mind me asking if anybody has any questions?
Yes, do you have any questions?
Yeah, come on through there. But Karen is saying she completely agrees that we choose our family. Absolutely, yeah. Anybody want to talk? I'm hopeless. I can never see hands up. So if anybody wants to talk, just unmute yourselves or stick something in the chat box.
Yeah,
Trina, before I hop out, I'd love to know a bit more about how you make up a chart with numerology as opposed to, a birth chart astrologically.
Well, I literally do it handwritten. Eva, that's how I would have been trained. So I use a lot of intuition. I work with guides. I've worked with angels, like everyone, all my life. So I get a lot of information. So I use the numbers in many ways as a gateway into connecting with someone's soul. So I'm a soul seer through numerology. So I handwrite it, literally.
And as I was saying today, that I was only reading that Isaac Newton actually used numerology for a lot of his, not just from the point of view of science and mathematics, but it's kind of divine numbers in a sense. He was using it from a mystical point of view.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. So, and a lot more scientists and those sort of, what would you say, academics did. They wouldn't admit to it.
Sure, look at Pythagoras, so I mean, one of the greatest philosophers in the world, and that's the system I was trained in, the Pythagorean system. But I've, used a lot of other systems, but ultimately numbers are vibration. And so every number of your date of birth and name of every letter of your name has a vibration associated with you. And that's what I look at. And I get the information then.
Fabulous. So
thank you.
Oh, Elaine, you're saying, thank you, Grainne, fascinating. Well, it is absolutely fascinating. Anybody else got something? I don't want to let Grainne go. If you've got a thought, if you've got a question or a comment or an observation, something you want to share with us, do please.
Grainne, what if you have two birthdays? So there's an official birthday and there's the birthday that your mother said you had.
I see that a lot. Yeah, and I see people who say someone's called Bridget, but they're really christened Mary, or their birth cert is Mary. We always go with the birth cert, and we always go with the official on the birth cert. Yeah.
Official one. Yeah. Because and it is true. I know even in my own family, I have a large family of uncles and aunts, and the birth wasn't registered for a couple of days. The poor dad went off to register the birth, and not only sometimes didn't spell the name as the mother would have wanted, but the date was wrong. I have my own father actually had two birthdays. And I don't know whether one of them was when he was registered and one of them was when he was actually born. But I know that's very common in Ireland.
Very. So we always go with the birth cert, and I know I always have to get a full name and the middle names, and great fun, because you might say, well, why? Well, that's the energy you came in with, and even though you might be called, I had an aunt who was actually called Bridget, and she was known as Lewin. Like, where does that come from?
That's nice.
And, Lewin. Yeah, it was a make-up name. So the thing is, it's now like we're working always with what you came in with. And then whatever else you're called, we could look at that too, of course, and that gives an indicator of the energy you're bringing out to the world. But ultimately, we're all here as each and every one of us are a part creating, bringing something into the collective.
I love that. That is a lovely. So, in other words, you're really calling us out. That you're here to bring something to the collective. We're not here to hide. We're not here to play small. We're not here to, go, who am I? Or wonder if you're worthy enough of whatever it is that you feel you want to bring to the collective. This is something that's really, you're being called to do it this time. Thank you. So I just want to go to Lorraine. There is a sense that we are on the precipice of something unknown. AI is creating new understandings. I trust the eventual outcome will benefit all, Grainne, and thank you to all contributors. Elaine, thanks a million for that as well. And
can I just ask one quick question to
please do, Karen. Yes.
Grainne, thanks so much. And like yourself, eavesdropping there, I'm kind of being nosy and watching as I'm like looking at your fascinating books. And you have a picture behind you, and it's of a lion. Can you tell me what that's about?
Yes, that's Aslan. Isn't that beautiful? And that was done by a beautiful lady. I've never met her.
Wow,
The Barley Moon. I'd highly recommend her. Laura Phillips.
Right, okay. Wow.
I'd really recommend her. She's the most amazing woman, Trina. You'd love to meet her. And I spoke in a podcast about one of my favorite books as a child was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Right.
And she did this, hand printed this for me for my 60th.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? Ooh,
yeah.
It's
so because
stunning.
of Aslan, do you have an affinity with lions?
I do. I love the majesty of a lion. I love animals, but I feel to me he represents, like Aslan in the books represents a lot more. I think it was a very Christian based book.
Yes.
He's representing the savior in many ways. And he's someone who has great wisdom and power, and yet he was allowed himself to be vulnerable and then rose again. So that's a bit like us, isn't it?
Beautiful.
We have to go through the dark night of the soul, but this is Aslan. So Laura, at the Barley Moon, that's the name of her company, and she's based in Ireland. Okay. A young mother with about 5 or 6 kids, and she is gifted.
Wow.
Thank you for that. That's always great.
I always keep him there so he can mind me.
He's lovely. Listen, thank you, Karen, for that. Elaine, you're saying again, would you ever look at the date of birth of leaders in the world, Grainne? Yes. Oh, there's a cheeky one.
No one is safe. If I meet them, so when's your date of birth? They wouldn't know why I'm asking. I get an indicator, and then I'm calculating.
Yes, yeah. Very good.
Safe. Everyone gets their dates done.
Little bit
more
of insight
for me, just sort of suss them out,
Well, this is why you're very good. So if anybody wants to know what you think about it, numbers for success, and as you say, it's numbers for success. I've written in it in the emails and the rest of it, so you can see it clearly. It's numbers for success. All follows on. Look it up. It's the podcast on all the podcast providers and streamers.
And my website is numbersforsuccess.com.
As numbers for success. And you do readings, you do soul journey readings, you do numerology readings. You're able to. So if anybody wants to know why are they here right now? You just check in with
no pressure now.
No pressure now. And also what I wanted to add to that was that very often Grainne will drop some really juicy stuff about world leaders and other things on that podcast. Yes. So it's well worth checking in. Eva, thanks.
And if you contact me, if you'd like a forecast, just tell me you met me here and I'll give you a discount.
Lovely. Thank you, Grainne.
Always.
Now, before we go, Eva says, this is Eva, and Eva, the very best of luck. We're really looking forward to seeing how you get on with that. Loved hearing all this. Thank you for creating this. You're so welcome. Delighted to hear all the great news and got to hop off. The very best of luck, Eva. Thank you so much for bringing us that this evening. Looking forward to seeing more about that. And Grainne is you've got some cards you're going to bring us. Are we doing the thinking of whether our card is 1, 2, or 3? How would you like us to do it?
Just take a moment now to think. I've got 3 cards picked, so think of either number 1, 2, or 3, and then I'll just give you an indicator of what they are. Me and Jess. So the first card, number 1. Who picked number 1?
There's a few. There's a few. Karen has, right. Ruth has, others
Take
have.
The glasses off now because I can't see. So, goddess of the unknown, a new chapter of your life is around the corner. Remove fear and embrace the unknown. And that's it there. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's number 1.
What deck are you using, Grainne?
Yeah, I haven't used these in years. Angels, gods, and goddesses.
Lovely. Okay.
Look at this. Yeah, and they're by. Who are they by?
Is that Rebecca Campbell?
Oh, Blue Angel.
Blue Angel, okay.
They're beautiful. I have them years.
Yeah.
Number 2. Anyone got number 2? Yeah,
There's a few
lovely.
2s. Gillian's got 2.
We've got Angel of Union. We got a bit of love going on. And it's a partnership is blessed and destined for great success. Oh,
Lovely.
the sound effects are Jess.
Good for Jess.
Okay,
Jess has a great partnership going on there as well.
beautiful. Bit of love. And then finally, number 3. Yeah, a couple of number 3s.
I've got 3. And
This
Lou
is the
has
god. That's great. So the goddess of justice.
Oh,
What seems an injustice is actually a blessing.
okay. Right.
I like that. So maybe sit with those if you whatever one you picked and see does it resonate with you.
Okay.
And just on justice is really interesting. I'm actually involved in something that's quite legal at the moment, and yeah, so really interesting to actually hear that.
Yeah.
There and you picked 3, did you, Elaine?
Yeah, I picked 3. Yeah,
Aha.
I was glad I didn't pick 2. The relationship.
Ah, you don't want that, do you not?
Divine union. We
None
all
of
need a
those.
bit of love.
Yes, well, listen, I hope everybody has a lovely Grainne, you're just delightful. And
Oh,
I look
thank you. I
forward
could
to
talk all
seeing.
day. I've only
Oh,
scratched the surface,
could,
but sure, look.
I know
Yeah.
that we could listen to you all day. Maybe you'll get sitting down and get to your own book if you ever get any time now.
Oh,
And it'd
sure, I
be
know.
fabulous to get to read that. I know you're hugely well read. I mean, if you ask Grainne anything, and she will have that, much like Eva, you know, the stories in the background, and you scratch the surface of something, and Grainne goes deep diving in.
Thank you.
Fascinating. So thank you for bringing this beautiful. I mean, you've
Thank
just
you.
lifted our spirits and helping us realize we're not victims. We have choice. We have a soul choice. We have our own will. This is what we're here to use. And to bring what we have got to the collective, not to be shrinking violets, playing it
No,
small. Bring what you've got. We need it. You're not here for nothing. You're here for something
absolutely.
really, really important. Grainne, you very much are here. Elaine, Karen, Eva, who's gone, and every single one of you. I'm actually thrilled because do you know what dawned on me? I normally send out the handy link before our thing, and I had it all set up and ready to go, and then completely forgot to send it out. So it is just a joy to see so many of you here this evening bringing your beautiful presence. And I know for Grainne and for other contributors, it's really lovely to see people here and sharing in the circle, in the energy, and bringing your presence to it. So the very best of luck, everybody. Grainne, thanks again, and
Thank you.
we'll be back very soon with lots more. We're going to have Elaine Dowling with her news. She's got some very interesting and exciting things going on as well. I'm looking forward to bringing that to us and hearing lots more about it. So Karen, the best of luck with the book. The best of luck, Elaine, with your course, your workshop of the weekend, and Grainne, I'm looking forward. We'll keep an eye on your podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing
Thank
what
you.
more is coming. Take care, everybody. Lots of love to you all. Bye-bye.